Vanessa Belzile from Positive Movement Yoga and Conditioning. I'm based in Montreal, Canada, and I'm so happy to take part of the Belize International Yoga Festival. For today's practice, we're going to try out an hour version of one of our positive movement kind of general classes. We're going to do some joint conditioning, some strengthening, some stretching, and definitely some breathing and relaxation at the end. You might find that some of the exercises aren't super familiar, especially maybe if you don't have experience with joint conditioning, but I guarantee that it's going to make you feel some muscles that maybe you haven't felt in a while, and hopefully by conditioning your joints, you'll help to make them more resilient and make your stretches a little more comfortable. So with that, we're going to get started lying down on the back. You can move onto your mat or wherever you're practicing. And you'll lie down in a way that's comfortable. So either you can have your knees bent, you can have your legs straight. That's your choice. But the idea is we want to wind down to help relax the spine especially. Right now you don't have gravity working against it. You can just let everything feel heavy. And we'll breathe through the nose. Ideally in and out through the nose. For this first part of the practice, I'm not really doing anything too crazy. I'm just trying to warm up my lungs and all the tissues around my rib cage, my torso. Sometimes placing the hands on the rib cage can help you feel out where your breath is going so that you can try to inhale into the hands. Feel the ribs expanding. And on the exhale, feeling the ribs contracting. Do this a few times. Encouraging yourself to take full advantage of your lungs' capacity. So although you're breathing throughout the day, chances are you're not paying that much attention to it. So what tends to happen is we're taking half breaths all day. Which is why I'm going to encourage you to breathe quite deeply throughout your practice today. And hopefully over time it's going to become second nature. It becomes a habit. You can relax your arms by your sides. And now if your legs were straight, you can place your feet on the ground about mat width apart, a little wider than your hips. And gently let your knees go down to the right as you look to the left. Pick your knees up, your face up, and then go the opposite way. Knees to the left, face to the right. I call this just windshield wiping the legs. You can do that a few times. Nice little gentle way to warm up the neck, warm up the hips and the lower back. One more time, both ways. And then when you're finished, you can gently draw your knees towards your chest. I like to keep my knees a little wide, just so it's a little bit more gentle on my back and my hips. And then you can start to rock left and right, basically massaging the base of your spine. Now we're going to warm up the hip sockets a little bit. So you'll keep holding your shins, but take the knees away from each other. Then push your knees forward into your hands. Bring your knees together. Bring your knees in, and then bring them out again. Knees press forward, together, knees in, knees out. Last time. And then we'll go the opposite way. So now bring your knees towards each other. Press them away from you. Take them away from each other. Bring them towards your ribs, back in towards your belly. 2 more times, forward, out, to the sides, to the center. Still breathing while you're at it. Then when you're finished, stretch out both arms and legs. Make yourself feel really long. And then exhale, right knee into chest. You can hold on to the right shin, so just underneath your knee with both hands. Your left foot can flex onto the ground. You can also bend your left knee and place your foot on the ground. So during this practice, I will be offering some variations, and that's in hopes that everyone can find a variation that's going to work for their bodies. We all have a very unique body, so it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal when it comes to yoga postures. Your right thigh can be directly into your chest. Some people prefer the knee out or a little closer towards their belly button. And then once you've found your comfortable thigh position, you can circle your right foot. And this is going to help us warm up the ankle and the shin muscles. Very good for stabilizing the legs in some of our standing postures later. You might hear some creaking and cracking as you do the joint conditioning. If ever anything is followed by pain, just make your circles smaller. Go the opposite direction. And you can use that concept for all of the kind of circles that we're going to make with our joints. The smaller the circle, the more gentle it is. Once you finish going this direction, now we're going to switch sides. Hold on to the left shin. Take your right leg to the floor or bend the knee, whatever's more comfortable for your low back. Adjust your thigh so that it's comfortable in your hip socket. And then once you've found your comfortable spot, circle your foot. And you're exaggerating. You're really making the biggest circle you possibly can. The more effort you put into making the circle, the more you're going to feel the muscles in front of your shin kind of acting up, which is great. Kind of toning them here before we even balance. Circle your foot the opposite way. Keep breathing through your nose. And then release, stretch out again. Bend the knees so that you can turn onto your right side. If anyone feels like their neck is a little bit sensitive, they can use a yoga block or a couch cushion or any kind of cushion under the right ear. And then we can either interlace our fingers in front, or you could just have like one arm bent in front, one hand on your ribs. The main thing we want to do though is make sure we're on the side. We're not going to roll onto the back. So tuck your knees high up into your chest. And now we're going to do hip cars. CARS stands for controlled articular rotation. So that's the joint conditioning I was telling you about earlier. Bring your left heel to your hip. You're going to keep your heel squeezed to your hip this whole time. Then point your knee all the way back, remembering that you're trying to stay on your side, so don't let yourself roll onto your back. Keep squeezing your left glute and your abs, and from here, lift your knee out and up. At this point, we're externally rotating the thigh, so you're going to try to rotate your thigh to point your knee all the way up to the ceiling, and then bring your knee towards your armpit. Bring your knee towards your chest. It doesn't matter how big your circle is. Remember, make it smaller if the muscles are cramping or if there's pain. Point your knee all the way back. Squeeze your glute. Lift your knee out and up. You should feel the muscles on the side of your hip wake up. Externally rotate your thigh so your knee points up. Then bring your knee towards your armpit, towards your chest. We'll just go one more time this direction. Point your knee back, keeping your low back long. Lift your knee out and up. Externally rotate your thigh bone. Pull your knee to your armpit and bring your knee to your chest. Whew. We're going to go the opposite direction. So once again, bring your left heel close to your hip, your knee into your chest, your knee points up. Now at this point, we want to keep the knee this high, and we're going to internally rotate the upper thigh bone. So I'm trying to pull my left heel behind me. Once I can't internally rotate, I'm going to lower my thigh under my hip and try to squeeze my thigh back. Bring the knee back into the chest. Lift the knee out and up. Internally rotate your thigh. Try to keep your knee high up as you rotate the thigh, and then bring it down and back. Last time. Knee comes in. Knee points up to the ceiling. Internally rotate your thigh. Try to squeeze the muscles around your hip as best you can, and then finally bring your knee down. And at this point, you might want to stretch. So relax your fingers if you're squeezing them. Lift your left heel up towards the ceiling. And then your choice, you can hold your leg to make it a little bit easier, or you can just keep your hand on the ground. Push up through the heel for 2. And then on 1, you can gently come onto your back and cross your left ankle on top of your right thigh. Some of you might want to stay here if that's more comfortable for your knees.
Otherwise, you can lift your right leg, take your left arm through the space of your legs, and then hold on to your thigh. Some people like to be still at this point. You can also bring your right thigh closer. Personally, I like to rock a little bit. So the idea is to stretch the left glute, the left butt. You might also feel the stretch on your thigh, maybe in the hip crease a little bit. And then let's release. And we're going to lie down on the other side, on the left side, so our hip cars for the right leg. Again, feel free to use something under your left ear to keep your neck comfortable. And I find bringing the knees closer to the chest a little more helpful for making sure that I don't cheat and roll onto my back. Option to interlace your fingers. And now bring your right heel towards your hip. Point your knee all the way back, squeezing your butt, making sure that you're not arching your back, right? So keep everything kind of tucked in. Lift your knee out and up. Externally rotate your thighs so your knee points up to the ceiling, and then bring your knee towards your armpit, towards your chest. Point your knee all the way back. Remember, you're trying not to arch your back. It's okay if you can't point your knee very far back. Lift your knee out and up. Feel the muscle around your hip crease kind of wake up. Externally rotate your thigh to point the knee up to the ceiling. Bring the knee towards your armpit, towards your chest, and then we have one more round to go. Point the knee back, knee out and up. Externally rotate, knee into arm, knee into chest, and relax for a second. Breathe in. Breathe out. Knee comes into chest, knee lifts up to the ceiling. So now keep the knee this high and try to internally rotate your thigh. When you can't rotate it inwards anymore, that's when you lower it and then try to squeeze your thigh back. Awesome. 2 more. Knee into chest. Knee up to the ceiling. Internally rotate your thigh. Really squeeze the muscle around the hip. Squeeze the knee back and then bring the knee in. Last time. This is a great exercise for building hip mobility. Knee up. Knee internally rotates, or thigh rather internally rotates. Squeeze your glute and then relax. Wonderful. We can lift the right heel up, take a breath in and out. Option to hold the leg. And then we're going to lie down. So turning around, crossing the right ankle on the left thigh. And remember that you can always stay here. Otherwise, lift your left leg, take your right arm through the space of your legs. And as you hold your left thigh, you can draw the leg closer, maybe rock. Do this for a few seconds. I also find this posture to help relax the lower back, especially if you've been sitting a lot at a desk or just kind of hunching over your phone. All right. And then place both feet on the ground. So at this point, I'm hoping you're a little bit warmed up. So we're going to get to some core work. And it's important to work the core, not just because we want a six-pack abs, right? You're working the core to help stabilize your core, your whole center of your body, your trunk. So very important muscles to wake up. This exercise, I like to call it around the world abs. So essentially, you're going to be like lifting one shoulder blade, then both, then leaning onto the other one, and then lying down again. And don't worry about the directions. I'll talk you through it. Key thing, if your lower back is bothering you, think of squeezing your lower abs, but also don't press the lower back into the ground. You should have like a natural, gentle curve in your lower back. Squeeze your abs, but keep that natural curve. You'll get better over time, don't worry. So hands behind the head. You'll start by lifting your left shoulder blade and try to lift onto your right side, your right shoulder blade. Then lift your right shoulder blade into a traditional crunch. Bring your left shoulder blade down and then your right shoulder blade down. Lift your right shoulder blade up so you're leaning onto your left side. Then lift your left shoulder blade, squeeze your abs, rest your right shoulder blade down, and then your left shoulder blade. So that counts as one round. We'll do just one more. Lift your left shoulder blade. Squeeze your abs, lift your right shoulder blade. Bring your left shoulder blade down, and then your right shoulder blade down. One more side. Right shoulder blade lifts. Really squeeze your abs. Lift the left shoulder blade. Then right shoulder blade down, left shoulder blade down. And you can take your arms by your sides. Great job. And now we're going to target the lower abs and the lower back a little bit. So this next exercise, I'll just show you quickly again for those people who are more visual. We're going to have the knees up into the chest, and our goal is to lower the knees to one side and then the other, but without touching the legs to the ground. The lower your legs come to the ground, the harder it is to get them back up. So maybe for the first round, you make it a bit of a smaller movement. You can place your palms flat on the floor so that you can brace yourself. Knees come in as far as you're comfortable in towards your chest, and you want your lower back long. Press your knees together and lower the knees towards the left without lifting your right shoulder and without letting your left thigh touch the ground. Press your knees together and lift them back up to center. And then slowly lower the knees towards the right. Again, don't let your left shoulder or arm come off. Keep them grounded. Squeeze your legs together, come back to center. Let the knees come down to the left. Right shoulder stays down. Press your left thigh up into the right one to come back up. And then knees towards the right. Press your right thigh up into the left one, come back up. One more on each side. Inhale, press up. Exhale, down to the right. And then as you come back up, wrap your arms around your shins, lift your head and shoulders, give your upper back a stretch, and then relax. At this point, we can turn over to one side and make our way into a tabletop position. So just turn yourself around. And we're going to bring the hands under the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. So we're just going to move the spine a little bit to try to loosen things up. As you inhale, try to keep your spine neutral first. As you exhale, think of rounding your lower back first, then your middle back, then your upper back. Keep your elbows straight. Spread out your shoulder blades and now look all the way down. Inhale, start to arch your lower back, middle back, upper back. Lift your gaze. You're going to look all the way forward. Exhale, round the lower back first, middle back, upper back, neck, elbows straight. Feel the shoulder blades spread out. And then again, arch the lower back first, middle back, upper back. Lift the head, lengthen the neck. Breathe in. And then one more time, exhale, round your lower back, your mid back, your upper back. Elbows are straight so you can spread out your shoulders, lower your head. And then inhale, lift your tailbone, arch your lower back, mid back, upper back, and then even your neck. Great. From there, find a neutral spine. Bring your hips back towards your heels and maybe sit up. Now, this can be a very, very intense stretch for the feet and the toes. So if it's not comfortable, feel free to do more of a standing kneeling position. And again, if being on the knees is not working, you just sit down. It's not a big deal. This next exercise is to warm up the shoulder blade area. So upper back, mid back. Take your arms in front of you. Try to keep your spine long. And then just lift your shoulder blades up to your ears. From there, pull your shoulder blades back and then bring them down. Bring your shoulder blades forward. You're going to feel like you're rounding your back. Lift your shoulder blades up. Squeeze them back. Pull them down. One more time. Shoulder blades forward, up, back, down. And then from the back, pull the shoulder blades up. Spread them out as you reach forward so you really feel like you're wanting to touch the wall in front of you. Shoulder blades down and then pull them back. Twice more. Lift. Shoulder blades forward. Shoulder blades down. Last time. Shoulder blades back. Up. Forward. Hands down. Lift your hips up. Downward facing dog. Walk your feet back any amount. You can have your heels up and your knees bent. This is really helpful for anyone with a tight lower back or hamstrings. Those of you who prefer to have your heels pressing back, that's fine too. You can also adjust how far away your hands are. Walk them further or walk them closer. depending on what makes you feel a little more comfortable. Heavy head. One deep breath in and out. And then lifting your heels, walk up to the top of your mat. Once you get to the front, your hands can go up your shins or even on your thighs. We're trying to pull the chest forward to straighten the spine, basically. Then with the exhale, we'll bend the knees so we can keep the belly on the thighs and allow the upper back to release. Again, halfway lift, put your hands on your shin. Try to straighten your back. This is more of an active posture. Instead of looking up, keep looking down. Keep your face facing the mat. From there, bend your knees and just round. Keep your spine rounded and begin to uncurl a vertebra at a time. So your head will be the last thing to lift. And as it does, you can also reach your arms out and up. Big stretch here. On your exhale, release your arms by your sides. You can kind of wiggle out any residual tension here. We're going to get started with some standing postures now. So we will be balancing. If you need to use a wall, you're always welcome to put your hand on a wall. So standing on the right foot, I'm going to face you, but you'll be facing the front of your mat. Standing on the right foot, lift your left knee and hold on to it with your left shin, flexing your left foot. From here, open your knee out any amount to the left. And then you're going to attempt to let go of your leg. Bring your hands together. And this is going to make the muscles around your hip kind of burn. Hopefully it's a good burn. From here, bring your left heel towards your thigh and then try to tap your right inner leg with your heel. Then lift your knee back up, squeeze the muscles around your hip, and then bring your heel towards your inner right leg. One more time. Lift your knee up. Bring your heel towards your right leg. This time as you lift your knee up, hold your ankle with your left hand and bring your foot somewhere on your right leg for a tree pose. Okay, you can have your hands together. You can have your arms reaching up. You can have your arms out. Please take the tree variation of your choice. And while you're in tree, notice, are you sticking out all of your weight into the right outer hip? Can you instead squeeze the muscles around your right hip and glute and pull your hip towards the left a little bit so you feel more stable around the joint? From here, we're going to turn the left knee forward and try to hold the knee up. If you want to make it harder, you can try to straighten your leg. I'm just going to turn so that I have more space. From here, we can bend the left knee and step back into a warrior one position. So readjust your legs. You're going to want your left heel on the ground, so make sure that it's not lifting. You can take a shorter stance. And as much as you're pushing down into your left heel, bend your right knee. So hopefully now you're feeling a nice stretch on your left front of the leg. At this point, turn the chest forward and reach the arms all the way up. Now we're going to do some joint conditioning for the shoulders and the elbows. So what you're going to do is lift your shoulder blades up. So pretend you're actually trying to touch the ceiling. I'm going to face you a little bit so you can see my arms. Then you're going to turn your palms all the way back. So your thumbs are sticking out. And then you're going to try to keep your elbows close to your head as you bend them and tap your shoulders. From there, straighten your elbows. Try to lift your shoulder blades. Then turn your palms out to the sides. You're going to swim your arms as far back behind you as you can. Now, once you can't get your arms back anymore, don't stick out your ribs. Keep your ribs pulled in and try to lift your triceps more. Woo, the arms will shake. Last but not least, you'll bend your elbows and then bring your knuckles either onto your lower back or onto your bum and just relax. So that's half of one round. We're going to go again. Let's squeeze the shoulder blades. Try to hover the knuckles off of your back. Straighten your elbows. Keep your lower ribs pulled in. Squeeze your triceps. And now externally rotate your arms. So your palms are going to face out. Reach all the way up. Turn your palms to face the back. And then tap your shoulders. Great. Reach up. And then from here, we're going to open up into a warrior two. So
to get rid of some of the stiffness that might have built up from that exercise. On your inhale, I just want you to turn your right palm up and your left palm back. I call this corkscrew arms. So right palm up, left palm back, look to your right hand. From here, switch so your right palm faces back, left palm faces up, and look over to your left hand. Once again, roll the right palm up, look forward. And then look back as you lift the left palm up, right palm back. From there, right palm up, left palm back, bend your left elbow and bring your hand on your low back or on your bum, and then reach your right arm up. You can bend your elbow here and hold the back of your head, or put your hand between your shoulder blades and just kind of lean back. One more breath. Straighten your elbows, right elbow to your right thigh. Your left arm is going to cross in front of your chest and reach forward. So if you want a deeper stretch here, instead of pulling your arm back, keep your arm where it is, but think of rotating from around your rib cage. So turn your chest towards the left. There you go. And take a really big breath so you can stretch the whole left side. Even though you're resting on your right thigh, you're not putting all your weight in the arm ideally. You're pushing the thigh away from you with your arm to lift your chest up. All right. From here, we're going to turn the left toes forward. The left hand will touch the ground. And at this point, we can lift the right elbow up. Maybe straighten the right arm. Maybe let the head kind of drop towards the left shoulder. Keep lifting your left thigh. Breathe in. On your breath out, turn all of your toes to the left, so you're facing the long edge of your mat. And then begin to bend your left knee a lot. Oh, and you'll feel the right inner thigh get a nice stretch. You can stay up or bend your elbows and lower your head. And then as you're pressing yourself up to straighten the arms, straighten your left leg and turn to face your right foot and find a low lunge. So I'm bringing my left knee to the ground and then I'm going to lift up, hands on the thigh. So notice my lunge is quite short, and that's on purpose. I don't want to have you with your hips dropping forward and a big curve in your lower back. Instead, I want your hip kind of on top of your knee, low back long, so that you have more access to stretch your psoas, your deep hip flexors. If you need to, pad your knee. All right? So we're going to work rotation of the upper back while we're stretching the lower leg. Your arms are going to come in front of you parallel to the ground. Squeeze your left glute. It's almost as if you're trying to round your lower back a little bit, and it's going to help you to stretch the front of the hip. While you're doing that, you're going to lift your right arm up towards the ceiling. You're going to twist from around your ribs. Keep squeezing your left glute, and then maybe reach all the way back. If you want to, look to your right hand. Then lift your arm back up. Find yourself facing the front, and now we're going to go the opposite way. Keep squeezing your left glute, lift your left arm, keep your knees pointing forward, and you're going to rotate your chest towards the left. Maybe look to the left arm. Good. And then coming back up to center, exhaling, releasing the hands onto the floor. Pick up your back knee and press your heel back. If you want to, you can straighten your front leg, but you don't have to. Bending the knee just makes it more gentle. Take a breath in. Bow the head as you breathe out. Inhale, lift the chest. Plant your palms, step back into a plank. Now you can be on your knees if you need to. Squeeze your abs, breathe in. Exhale, come down to the ground. Feel free to use your knees and come all the way down. Point your toes back. From here, baby cobra, bhujangasana. Lift your chest, think of squeezing your upper back. And then begin to lift the hands off the floor so that they're hovering. I really want you to feel like you're lifting your triceps up towards the ceiling. From here, bend your wrists and reach your arms all the way back. Take a full breath in here. Exhale, bend your elbows, fingertips forward again.
Hands come down to the mat. Your hips can sit back towards your heels, and you can rest your head on the floor or on top of your hands, wherever you like. And if your heels don't touch, or your hips don't touch your heels, it's not a big deal. You can always be a little bit more like this. You can also tuck your toes under. So as long as you're feeling like you can relax your low back. Reach your arms forward, come into your tabletop position, and from there, find your downward dog. Now, in your downward dog, can you lift your shoulder blades just a little bit? Kind of like when we were in our warrior one position. I want you to feel the muscles under your armpits wake up and help stabilize your shoulders. From there, look at your hands. You can walk up to the front. Some of you might like to take your feet a bit closer and try to hop. Once you get there, halfway lift, your hands go to your shins. And then exhale to bow, bend your knees a lot, and drop your head. Rise up, inhale, reach to the ceiling. And then release your arms as you breathe out. So we're going to switch legs now. You're going to stand on your left foot, right knee up. You can hold your right shin and flex your right foot. Open your knee to the right. Any amount, doesn't have to be a lot, eh? And you can stay here, or to make it more challenging, bring your palms together. So now you have to work actively to keep this position. From here, we'll pull the right heel towards the inner thigh. And imagine we want to tap the heel to the inner left thigh. Doesn't have to go up that high. Lift your knee. If you can only get your heel to your calf, that's fine. Exhale, tap your heel somewhere on your left leg. You can always use the wall if you need balance. Lift the knee. And then tap the heel to the inner leg. This time as you lift your knee, hold on to your ankle with your right hand and place your foot somewhere on your leg. Personally, I like it on my thigh, but you can always have your foot on your calf or on your ankle as well. Okay? Once you're set up, you can have your hands together or arms up, arms out. It's definitely your choice. And let's remember, we're not putting all of our weight into the left hip. We're trying to squeeze the glutes and the muscles around the hip to bring the hip towards the right a little bit. Yeah, standing nice and firm. From here, we point the knee forward, and we can keep the knee bent to make it easier, or we can attempt to straighten the leg, push the leg forward. Now, try not to lean back. Keep your chest on top of your hips and lift the leg up. There, we'll bend the knee and step back into a warrior one position. So the right heel on the ground and arms come up. And then for the sake of showing the arms, I'm just going to face the front. At this point, lift your shoulder blades. You're trying to keep the base of your neck relaxed, but you're trying to lift from the outside of your shoulder blades, okay? Then spin your palms back. They might not turn all the way back, that's fine. Do your best. Thumbs point out. Bend your elbows, and again, trying your best, keep your elbows close to your head as you tap your shoulders. Then reach up. You're still keeping the same position. Turn your palms out. Circle your arms back behind you, and as your arms reach back, avoid arching your back. Keep yourself neutral, squeeze your abs. Maybe lift the triceps a little higher, maybe feel the muscles shaking. And then finally, bending the elbows, resting the knuckles on the low back or on the bum, and then relaxing. Give yourself a second. Take a breath in. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards the spine. Peel the knuckles off of your low back. Straighten your arms. And then start to circle your arms all the way back up. Turn your palms all the way back. And then tap your shoulders. Lift the fingers up. Warrior two, slide your right leg back and bend your left knee somewhere on top of your ankle. You can take a shorter or a smaller stance depending. Flip your left palm up, your right palm back. You can look towards the front hand. And then switch, flip the left palm back, look over to your right palm as you flip it up. Keep bending your left knee. Switch again, left palm up, right palm back. And then last time, look back. Now as you turn your right palm back and your left palm up, bend your right elbow to bring your hand somewhere like on your bum, behind your back. Some of you might reach more for the hip. And then take your left arm up. option, bend your elbow and hold the head or in between your shoulder blades. Now as you lean back, keep bending your front knee and press the head back into the forearm so you can stretch your tricep. Find your warrior two, and then take your left forearm on your thigh, cross your right arm in front of you and reach it all the way forward. Extended side angle. And rather than dumping all the weight into the left shoulder, can you press the thigh away from you and lift your chest up and away? So you're still active despite having the arm kind of resting. Take a breath in, a breath out. Pivot the right toes forward. Your right hand will come to the ground. And from here, lift the left elbow. Squeeze your shoulder blade as close as you can to your spine. And then if you want to, straighten the arm. And if it feels good, lower the head towards the right shoulder. Keep lifting your right thigh up. And then releasing the hand, we'll turn all of our toes to the right. So once again, we're facing the wide edge of the mat, bending the right knee on this side. So as we bend the right knee, we want to keep the left foot pressing down firmly. We can keep the elbows straight or bend the elbows and allow the head to release. Inhaling to press back up, turn over to face your left foot and come into a short low lunge. So your right knee underneath your hip. You can pad your knee. I didn't mention this on the first side, but your back toes can be tucked under to help with stability. If you feel more at ease with your toes pointed, that's totally fine. Your arms are going to come out in front of you horizontally. You're going to squeeze your right booty, your right glute. And then keeping ourselves feeling nice and tall, lift the crown of your head. Take your left arm up, semicircle, and reach back as you turn your chest more to the left. Now you can look to the center or look over to your left hand. Take your left arm back up and bring the arm out in front of you. And now we'll switch directions. So make sure you're really trying to keep your lower body from moving. So you're squeezing your muscles. Lift your right arm up. Keep squeezing the muscles. Twist around your ribs and reach your right arm back. Maybe look to the right. From here, take the right arm all the way up, all the way out in front, and then your hands just come down to the floor. As you pick up your knee, your back knee, you can push your heel back. It doesn't have to touch the floor, but just pushing it back will hopefully stretch your calf. If you want to straighten your left leg, you can, but you can also keep the knee bent and bow the head. Plant your palms so you can step back into a plank position, use the knees if needed, and come down to the floor. All the way down. This next exercise, you're going to have to keep your forehead on the floor. So if you want to, I'll show you quickly what I want you to do, and then you can try it for yourself. So you'll either have your palms flat or you'll be on your knuckles. I like to be on my knuckles better. My palms are facing my sides. With my forehead down, I'm going to punch into the ground. Like I'm trying to lift myself up, but I'm keeping myself from straightening my elbows. Then after a few seconds, I'm going to lift my knuckles to hover off the ground. So in that way, we're going to be engaging the chest when we're pushing down. And then when we're lifting up, we'll be engaging the back side. So I really like it to help balance out the front and back body. So take your forehead down and don't look up. Bring either your palms down or your knuckles down. Lengthen your lower back, keep your feet down, and just press into the ground. Really feel your shoulder blades coming close together as you try to pull your elbows towards your ribs. Keep pressing 2. And then on 1, keep your head down. Just try to lift your hands or your knuckles off the ground. They might not lift that much, that's okay. Now punch into the ground or push your palms into the ground. Hold that 3. Press as firmly as you can without pain. 2 and 1. Hover your knuckles or your palms. Hold that 3, 2, 1. This time straighten your arms, straighten your fingers, and now lift your head and your chest. Maybe lift your legs. And then feet down, hands down, child's pose, hips to heels. You can relax. If your arms or shoulders are tired from that, just bring your arms behind you. Great job. Hands can come out in front. We can make our way to another downward dog. Get a nice little stretch here. If ever downward dog doesn't work for you, you can always do more of a forward fold. We'll meet you there in a moment. And for those of you in downward dog, walk or take your little hop to your hands. Halfway lift. And exhale, bow. Stand up as you breathe in. Reach up towards the ceiling. And release your arms by your sides. Okay, one more balancing pose here. Stand on your right foot and cross your left leg on top of your right. If you can't squeeze your thighs together, you can always have your knee out a little bit. Just do what you can. Your left arm is going to come under your right, and you can either hold your shoulders or you can cross at the elbows and hold onto your palms. So we call this eagle pose or Garudasana in the yoga world. Think of bringing your chest on top of your hips, and if you want more work, you can always sit down more. It's your choice. Hold this for about 2 breaths. Try to keep your eyes focused on one spot. We're going to keep the arms as they are for now. Just lift your left knee, and then step back into a warrior one position. Maybe lift your elbows. And then release the crossing of the arms. Swoop the arms up. And then from here, we're going to reach the arms all the way back and maybe interlace the fingers. Now, if you can't interlace your fingers comfortably, you can hold something between your hands. It could be anything. I had a block, but you could hold on to a scarf or honestly anything. Think of keeping your elbows long and then bow forward any amount. You might want to stop here. Some of you might want to bring the belly all the way to the thigh. Let your head release gently. Stay there for a breath. And then as you come back up, inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And then open up warrior two. I'm just going to face the other way actually. All right, from warrior two, reverse triangle. Straighten your right leg. Left hand on your thigh and reach your right arm back. From there, regular triangle, right hand on the inside of your right thigh. Look up for a breath in. We're going to do a little thoracic rotation. On the breath out, take your left hand forward and down towards the floor or towards your right palm. Lift your arm towards the front, reach it up towards the ceiling, turn your chest, and exhale. Rotate the arm forward, turn your chest towards the ground as you maybe tap your right palm. Inhale, lift, open, warrior two, reverse one more time just because it feels good, this time with your knee bent. And then we're going to straighten the front leg, parallel the feet, hands on the hips, and lean forward into a forward bend. So once your hands come to the ground, take a breath in. As you breathe out, bend your left knee again. We did this earlier. We're going to turn this into a twist. So your right hand is going to go underneath your face. And you'll start to bend your left elbow, lifting it up towards the ceiling. Okay? From there, you can stay, or you can reach your left arm all the way up and maybe lower your right side of the head to the right shoulder. Then we're going to straighten the leg, bring the hand back down. We'll turn ourselves to face the front into a low lunge. So a small low lunge again. This next exercise that we're going to do is a huge help to a tight psoas or deep hip flexor muscles. And if you don't know what your psoas is, you can look it up later because it'll take me too long to explain, but basically a very large muscle that can often make us feel tight in the lower back or in front of the hip if there's too much tension there. So what you'll want to do is in your short lunge, again, you're going to want to squeeze your left glute. Your arms are going to come in front of you. And what we're going to do is take a breath in. You can join me for this one. On your breath out, try to round your lower back, tuck your chin in, and now reach forward with your arms so that your shoulder blades spread out. Keep reaching forward, keep rounding your back, keep squeezing your left glute, and pause. Now as you inhale, you're going to think of pulling your shoulder blades back and then at the same time lifting your chest into a neutral spine. Then as you exhale, squeeze your left glute again. Round your lower back, middle back, upper back. Reach your arms forward and tuck your chin in. Try not to look up. Inhale, draw your shoulder blades back, lift the head. Last time, exhale, round your lower back, mid back, upper back, reach your arms forward, tuck your chin, stay for the breath in, stay for the breath out, and then slowly draw the shoulder blades towards the spine, lift your arms up, reach your arms back, and then maybe, this is completely optional, maybe we squeeze the bum so tight that we can lift the left foot a little bit. Hold that for 3, for 2. On 1, bring your tippy toes back down, hands down. Option to push the left heel back and maybe straighten the front leg, or once again, just keep the knee bent. Then we're going to press into the palms, step back into a plank, land on your belly. And here you have the choice to either come into cobra, we did this earlier, or bring your hands a little further back and straighten your arms. Think of lifting the legs as you push the ground away from you. This is upward dog. Option to use your knees to come back to downward dog and breathe. We have one more side, let's go for it. Tippy toe or hop to your hands, halfway lift, exhale, bow. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, release the arms, and then we'll stand on the left leg. So this time the right leg will come on top. Your right arm under your left arm. You can hold your shoulders or your palms, whatever you prefer. And then find one spot for your eyes. If you do have your arms in front of your face, keep the arms centered. Sometimes we move the arms to try to see what's in front of us, but you don't really need to see anything other than your arms. 2 breaths. Nice stretch for the upper back as you're crossing your elbows. Maybe you're going to sit lower to feel like you can squeeze your thighs closer together. Keep the arms as they are. Simply lift your right knee. And then step your right heel back into your warrior 1 stance. Lift the forearms up a little, inhale, and then release, exhale. Reach up. Humble warrior next. Reach your arms back and interlace your fingers or hold an object. Extend the elbows and either come down halfway or bring the chest all the way down. Keep pressing the right heel back as you're bending your left knee. Tuck your chin in a little bit so your backside gets a bit more stretch. And then pressing down to the feet to come back up. Reach your arms up and open into a warrior 2. We'll come into a reverse triangle from here. So straighten your front leg. Right hand on your thigh, reach your left arm back. And then regular triangle, also known as Utthita Trikonasana, left hand inside your left thigh. You can look up. Big breath here. We're going to start to bring the right arm towards the front. You're going to turn your chest towards the ground and maybe tap your left palm with your right fingertips. And then reaching forward, opening the chest to the right, maybe looking up. So just one more time like that. Turn your chest, start to reach forward. Turn your chest all the way towards the floor as you reach down. And then take the arm forward and up. Bend your knee, warrior 2, reverse, just for a breath. And then as we come back to warrior 2, we can straighten the leg, hands to the hips, pivot the feet so that they're parallel, and hinge from your hips. Once your hands touch the ground, bend your right knee. And then from there, your left arm can go under your head. Bend your right elbow, squeeze your right shoulder blade towards your spine and turn your chest. At this point, maybe you're going to straighten your arm. Maybe you'll let your head kind of hang to your left shoulder. Great. And then taking everything back to center, breathe in. Turn to your left foot as you breathe out. So this is our last side here. I'm going to work on the right side of the psoas and the hip flexors. So make sure your knee is comfortable, pat it if you need to. And think of squeezing your bum so that you're lengthening your lower back. Reach your arms in front. And remember when we were pulling the shoulder blades back and reaching them forward, it's the same action. Start by rounding your lower back. your middle back, your upper back. Reach your arms forward and tuck your chin in. Hold this. Then as you inhale, keep squeezing your right glute, but pull your shoulder blades towards each other and lift your chest and back of your neck. Lengthens. From here, round your lower back, middle back, upper back. Reach forward to spread your shoulder blades and then tuck your chin in. From there, squeeze the shoulder blades back, lift the crown of the head up to the ceiling. This is our last round. Exhale, tuck everything under. So really squeeze your abs also as you spread your shoulder blades apart. Reach forward, tuck your chin in. Stay for the breath in. Stay for the breath out. Slowly pull your shoulder blades towards the back. Lift the head and then reach up. On your exhale, reach back. Option to keep your arms here and just hold, or if you want more, lift the right foot. Doesn't have to be a lot. 3, 2, 1. Lower the right foot. Hands down. Pick up your back knee and push your heel back. Step into your plank position. Make your way all the way down. From here, we can reach the arms back, or we can reach back and interlace the fingers. Press the knuckles back as you lift your chest, and then perhaps lift the legs and hold this for 3, 2. Instead of lifting your chin, keep bringing your chin down so your face faces the mat. On 1, release. Option, you can look to the right. Your arms can be under your head. You can have your arms behind you. Just take a few seconds. Otherwise, you can look down. Second set. So looking forward, you can bend your knees and just bend your elbows and come up into what we call skydiver's pose. If you feel comfortable reaching back and holding your ankles or your feet, you can do Dhanurasana, bow pose. So when you're ready, take a breath in. Exhale. Kick your feet back into your hands if you're holding on to them. If you're doing skydiver's pose, think of lifting your feet up towards the ceiling. And really squeeze your lower belly to support your back. Keep the neck feeling long so you don't have to try to look up. 1 more kick back. And then gently release. Option, look over to the left. You can also lift your feet and kind of windshield wiper your legs if that feels good on your back. And then taking your hands by your chest, come into a child's pose and just stretch out your back. All right. So you're going to do some things to kind of wind down now. We're going to find a seat with our legs in a crooked kind of position. So some people will call this a crooked pigeon in the yoga world, and in the exercise world, 90-90 sitting position. Now, just because it's called 90-90 doesn't mean it has to be perfect. So if for you it feels more comfortable to have your right foot closer to your left thigh, that's fine. You can also bring your foot closer to your bum. Okay, if you prefer your feet further away from your thighs, that's good too. From this position, we're going to lean into the front leg and just kind of walk the hands in front of the shin. What we're looking for is a stretch on the right butt, the right glute, and you might also feel it on the side of your lower back. If you're not feeling a stretch, think of adjusting a couple of things. Maybe you need to bring your right foot forward more, or maybe you need to adjust where you're kind of leaning forward towards. So for some people, leaning a little bit towards the foot creates more stretch. For some people, kind of turning a bit towards the knee creates more stretch. So hopefully you find your sweet spot and stay for about 2-3 breaths. Now we're going to walk the hands back and bring them behind the hips. So what we're going to do is just give the back leg a bit of attention. So with your hands back, turn your chest towards your back leg. So in this case, the left leg. And you can keep your elbows straight, or you can bend your elbows to get more stretch. While you're leaning back, think of driving your left thigh down into the floor. 3, 2, 1. Come back up. Hold on to your left ankle with your left hand. Your right hand can be on your knee or on the floor. You're going to lift your chest and tilt your head to the right. And what I'm hoping this will produce is a stretching sensation on the side of the left part of your neck. You might also feel it on the top of your left shoulder and maybe your arm. All right, from here, we're going to relax. Bring both knees up to face the ceiling, both hands behind the hips, basically. You can just lift the chest, tuck the chin in. Now let your knees fall the other way, knees towards the left. And remember, you can adjust so that your foot is further from you or closer to your center line. And we'll start by bringing the hands just in front of the left shin. We can walk ourselves forward until we start to feel a stretch on the left glute, maybe the left side of the lower back. And if it's not feeling so comfortable, readjust. Maybe you need to turn your chest a bit to the left or to the right until you find your sweet spot. And then pay attention. Are you able to breathe calmly while you're here? Your breath is a great indicator to let you know how you're doing. Generally, when the breath is easy, we're in a position where we're able to relax and let go of a lot of tension. If we're holding the breath and we're really straining, we're probably adding on to the tension. So pay attention and try to soften up as best as you can. It's okay if you round your spine as you lean forward. And start to walk your hands back. Take them behind your hips. And to get a little bit of sensation on the back leg, you're simply turning your chest towards it. So that's increasing the internal rotation of your back leg. And if you want more, press down into the right thigh and also maybe bend your elbows. Stay there for a breath or two. And then as you press yourself up, you can simply hold on to the outside of your right ankle. If you feel like you need to bring your knees closer together, that's fine to make it more accessible. Your left hand can be on your leg or on the floor. Lift your chest so that you feel like you're really stretching the side of your arm. And then maybe, while you're doing that, tilt your head to the left. And you can tilt your head by bringing your chin down a little bit or readjusting the head basically to any position that gives you the stretch you're looking for. All right, and then as we start to come back up, both of the hands are going to go behind the hips again. And then your choice this time, as you lift your chest and squeeze your shoulder blades together, you can look down. Some of you might like to look forward. Some of you might like to look all the way up. Slowly come out of it and make your way into a comfortable seated position. So I just want you to take a big breath in through the nose. Big breath out through the nose. And then at your own pace, lie down on your back for final relaxation. So that can be done again with your knees bent or your legs straight. You can put something under your thighs if your lower back is a little uncomfortable. Ideally, while you're in Shavasana, you're still focusing on some slow rhythmic breaths. And this can help you calm the brain so that you're not just lying here thinking about all the stuff you got to do later. Instead, give yourself permission to really be. You don't have to do anything right now. And while you're being, what's going on is you're charging your batteries so that you hopefully come out of this session feeling somewhat refreshed, although you worked very hard. Anytime your mind gets distracted, remember to take a nice breath in and out through your nose. And keep bringing yourself back to the moment with your breaths. Your breaths are like your anchor to the present. Every once in a while, you might get those thoughts that pop in. Just remember, you don't have to add to your stories or your thoughts right now. Let them go with an exhale for the moment. Now, generally, we wouldn't want to take shorter than 5 minutes here to fully recharge. But because I'm running out of time, I'm just going to give you that choice to either stay a little bit longer or slowly make your way up. I want to thank you all for sharing your practice and for supporting this beautiful festival. I'm very honored that I got to take part of it. I'm wishing you all a beautiful day. Namaste.